All right, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever y'all happen to be. If you could quickly let me know if you can hear me, I'm pretty sure I'm set up okay today. I've even restarted my computer, so hopefully Chrome doesn't decide to crash immediately again. That was very exciting. Um, just dropping a quick link in the chat. We're here to talk about Loom, which is a recording collaboration software. But first, always just curious where folks are in the world. Um, I also have heard a story that someone's cat apparently really likes grooving out to my intro music, which is awesome. I don't keep my cats in this room. They don't like going outside of the main house, so I don't know how they would react, but maybe I'll play it for them later. Frank, it's been almost 23 hours since I last saw you in the chat, and I'm really happy you're here because I'm not anxious anymore. Scott, welcome. The Side with Talent. New York City's got Broadway. Come on. Martin, welcome. I think I've seen you in here before. As I mentioned, we're here to talk about Loom. I'll talk a little bit about my experience with Loom and other various similar systems, and then we're going to talk kind of about the basics. Loom falls into the group of systems that we're just expected to use. They do a pretty good job of making it fairly intuitive. And again, I'll drop some links in the channel. This one is to download Loom. There's a free version, and I'll talk about the tiers as we go. I've used it with I forget what they call the levels, the middle one professionally. But I'm going to start using the free one to replace some other tools I've been using because it all integrates with other Atlassian stuff. Rohit, I grew up in Connecticut. Welcome. Indianapolis, love it. So, as always, we're going to start with some slides, and then we are going to jump into, I'll say Loom, but really we'll be using Jira and Confluence, and I'll demonstrate some of the features that I have been using. And I need the right screen, don't I? And if anyone notices anything odd about my head, I'm going to fix that very quickly. I have a fancy new add-on, and sometimes it's very fancy. Whoa. There we go. Up and down. There we go. All right. Oh, wait a minute. That's the intro. I didn't want the intro. I wanted this one. Uh-oh. We had a great discussion yesterday about naming conventions, and I'll be the first to admit I am awful with naming conventions. My advice to everyone is take some time to make sure you understand what you call things so you don't make mistakes like I just made. My name is Rob, for those of you who haven't been in one of these before. I'm curious if you've been in a live stream with me. I've been using Loom around 3 years ago, around maybe 3 years. But recently, after I started using it, Atlassian acquired the company. So Loom then got folded into Atlassian's tech stack. Martin, 8 times, love it. If we get you up to double digits, you get bonus points. I don't know what points do, but I'll give you bonus points. Uh-oh, is my video glitching? Oh no, I hope not. Chad, yes, you are a repeat customer. Lior, welcome. So I've been using Loom for a few years. Before that, I used other screen cap software, other things to capture my screen, Snagit, Camtasia, most recently Shotter. And these are all interesting and useful tools. For me, the tool that is best is the one that I have access to and I'm familiar with and know how to use. Martin, I'll have to figure out a way for points to mean something. I'll get my best people on it, my top minds. But throughout my career, I've supported IT teams in various capacities, and I have always had a big need to document things. One of my first jobs on the IT help desk, I ended up writing documentation, and I realized having a way to capture a screen, whether recording, video or recording screenshots, was really important. I needed something I could quickly use to just grab a screen and throw it into a Word doc or throw it into a Confluence page so I could build something quickly. Since then, I've also needed it for doing things like reporting bugs. I work with a lot of engineering teams, and our support team will report a problem with our software. And it's great that that support team has a tool where with a few button clicks, they can just immediately start recording and then instantly share that on their bug ticket. Many of you have already figured out how to communicate. YouTube is great because you all can hear and see me. I can't really see or hear any of you though, so please use the chat. You found it, it's just to the left of me. You'll see a lot of the regulars going back and forth about random topics. I'll encourage you to jump in, but please also ask questions or share your experience. One thing I like about this group and the people that come to this and training is we all get to learn from each other. So there's a ton of really smart people. I just happen to be the one who's stuck on camera. So please ask questions and please help out other folks. For example, Liz is sharing some ideas on other software they've used for screen capture. So as you have ideas, as you notice things, please drop it in the chat. Also, if you like this, please like and subscribe. This is the first one I'm doing on Loom. I have some ideas on more I could do with it, but your feedback on what you find useful and interesting is useful. And if you have other ideas for training, put that in the chat as well. So other topics around anything tech-related, Atlassian, etc., let me know. I'll be happy to throw something together. Very quick concepts and just orientation. So we'll talk a bit about Loom, and then we'll go play with Loom. I'll show it to you. First, we'll just start with what even is it? When I started using it, I just was told we have Loom, and I said, okay, cool. What does it do? So we'll cover what it's intended to do. And then we'll talk about use cases for it. So what can we use it for, or what have I used it for? Again, I don't know absolutely everything. Dave is very keen on this naming convention chat. Dave, what I'll do is put together a blog post, and I'll talk more about the blog later, and a video on naming conventions. It has come up several times in other trainings. So I do a study session for an Atlassian certification about Jira service projects. It's come up in there multiple times. It's come up in our Confluence discussions. It just came up here because I couldn't find the right slide deck. So Dave, it's embedded in some of my other live trainings. What I'll do is I'll pull it out and I'll have some specific content around it that kind of pulls the ideas together. Naming convention. Although, fun fact, my cats are named after trees. That wasn't intentional, but that's the naming convention we happen to have for cats. After we talk about concepts, we'll get hands-on. So I'll show you using Loom and what it does. But our first question is, have you used Loom? And if so, what for? So just a quick question for the group. There is a blog, Dave, and I'll talk about that near the end of all this fun stuff. I'm also playing with this question and answer thing that YouTube now gives me. And it's annoying on my end because it takes all of the chat away. So I might take that down in just a minute. Some folks have used it for video recording. No, briefly. Yes, this was my problem with it, Dave. I was just told I had it. Liz, it's too pricey. I'm going to make a joke here, Liz, but free is too expensive. Folks did a trial. What's wrong with naming convention for cats? Interesting. Again, Loom is these are my words, a cloud-based video and screen sharing tool. And Atlassian, again, acquired it a few years ago, and they're starting to push it. Oh, that was exciting. They're starting to integrate it more with their other products. And to me, this is where it's exciting because it means, in the same way when I make a whiteboard in Confluence, it's Confluence and everyone can use it. I can be on the Confluence page and just start a recording right from there or on a Jira ticket. Now, you don't have to use Confluence or Jira, etc., to use Loom. It is its own standalone tool, and that's how I started using it. It was just the screen sharing, the video recording thing I had. And at the time, I had to make a lot, like a ton of documentation about how-to documents for a system. And so it was great to have it lived right in my browser, and I'll talk about how we interact with it um, right in the browser so I could access it very easily. And it happened again. Well, if anyone knows how to fix Chrome, that would be amazing. So I'll keep talking about it while I get my screen back. But Chrome decided to entirely crash on me there. Now, there's some use cases for Loom. The biggest one for me is recording visual information. And that's because for me, it worked first as the video screen capture because I just quickly push a few buttons and then get everything that I needed. Let me come back. There we go. So for me, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of visual information gathering. This replaced other tools I used to take care of this kind of thing. And let me quickly snag a, come here, window. Thank you, Chrome. It replaced a number of other tools that I used, like Snagit. Shotter is a popular one at the company I happen to be at. But I've switched over to Loom, again, because it's one thing. I don't have to worry about multiple tools now. It's all in one spot. And it has that integration with the other tools that I'm using. I've got my chat back. Now, it does have other interesting features. It has some built-in editing, which is nice. And this is starting to expand. And as Atlassian builds it, they're adding more stuff. At the middle tier, it includes some AI editing, so removing ums and ahs, that kind of thing. But for me, it was really nice because I could record a bug report, and then I could skip off. I could trim out the pieces I didn't want to share or I thought were not good. Here we go. We're back. And so because of that, I could send better information to my engineering team or send better information with my manager, whatever I had to do in order to ensure they had what they needed. And so that's really what made it useful. Let me get rid of that real quick. Now, there's two different ways to install it. One is the Chrome browser extension. This is very lightweight. You have to be using Chrome, of course, for this to work. So if you do have Chrome, the browser extension is a great option. And that's how I started using it. I didn't even realize that it had a desktop download. I just simply was unaware. Is this going to work for me? It's not going to work for me. Oh, man. That makes me sad. My live chat is busted. Anyway, there is also a download, which I just discovered the other day putting this course together. It has some more features. It allows you to assign hotkeys. So I can hit Command-Shift-2 on my keyboard, and that will start a screen capture. I can do Command-Shift-L, and that will start a recording. So I'm going to start to use that because it makes it much faster than having to go click on something. But let me catch up in the chat real quick. I fell out of there for a minute. Use Firefox. I miss so much. Naming conventions for cats. Yes, it's a very important thing. Every VP and manager has their own preferred ways to take notes. Yes. And that can be a challenge when we think of our documentation or of our recording. If everyone has their own thing that they like and want to do, that can make it very frustrating for folks like us to figure out what's going on to make sure we can support people. And let me shrink my head just a little. There we go. All right. There's two main features I like about Loom. We've got the screenshotting, and then we've got the video. Again, these are not all the features, but for me, these are the core of it. This is why I use it. It's so I can capture my screen either through video or as a static image and then share it with folks. Now, screenshots, you can annotate, which is nice. And I do this a ton in the current thing I use, which is called Shotter. I'll use it to start building the documentation from the screenshot. My challenge with some of the tools I currently use is it drops the file on my desktop. And I won't show you all a screenshot of my desktop because there's just a lot of files called SCR hyphen an 8-digit number, a random 4-digit letter, and then .png. And that's because the way the system works is it just drops the file on the desktop and it names it a generic name. And again, I'm really bad at figuring it out, or figuring out the naming convention and renaming things. So for me, it's much easier to drop it in the cloud where I don't have to stare at it all the time and then forget about it, honestly. But at least it's not cluttering up my desktop. It's somewhere where I could search through it. I can share it with folks. It's much more accessible. And Frank, I do appreciate Shotter. I do like what it can do. I'm finding that Loom is starting to replace some of that for me. And again, some folks mentioned in the chat here, like if I have to use 3 different things to record a screen, that's too many. Whereas if I can just use one, Loom, that's much better for me because I only have one thing to use. Dave, I appreciate that question about for the tech writers in the room. Is video or text better in a how-to? I'm not a tech writer. I'm someone who cosplays as a tech writer, if that makes sense. I end up having to do it. I try to add both, and my chat is tiny. Why is my chat tiny again? I try and include both just to make sure people have everything they need. That makes me sad. But sometimes I just find myself slamming in text because it's easier. And also it's harder to make a mistake. I can go back and edit it more easily. Next, the other thing Loom gives us is organization. So like I've been joking about having just a pile of screenshots on my desktop, Loom gives us different ways to categorize and organize our content. And this for me is really powerful, especially at the org level. You know, I'm at a 4,000 person company or something like that. And if everyone just dropped all their videos into one folder, it would go in, I'd go insane. Now, within Loom, we have a library. All of our videos, our archive, and our screenshots. And then those can be organized into spaces. Now, for folks who use Confluence, this might sound familiar. You might have a space for your engineering team, and that's where all their looms go. Or maybe a bug space where people put bug looms. Okay, I love what's going on in the chat here. I would bring it up on screen if my thingy didn't break. Screen presso. I just want coffee now. Chad, a former tech writer and former L&D specialist, both video and text is the way to go. Kythra says, better depends on your audience. So how do you know what your audience needs? Yep. Dave doesn't use videos at all. I like Kythra's point about know your audience. For me, I'll use this video as an example, right? I decided to do a Loom video because I found it interesting. What I probably should have done is gone out and asked all of you, or asked people like, hey, would you find a video about this useful? Instead of just assuming you would like it, just to see what would happen. Now, how we get that information can be challenging. We might hear feedback that folks don't like it or want us to change it. But getting feedback from the people who we're working with is an important aspect of building good documentation. And also what I'm kind of hearing is we need a more in-depth stuff about writing good documentation and that kind of thing. So if you think that's a good idea, you know, put a thumbs up or a +1 or something in the chat, just so I get that feedback. All right. Of course, Loom, though, is also built around collaboration. And this for me is important because, again, I'm constantly building out documentation that I have to share with other humans. And so with Loom, it's much easier for me to share it. I'm not as reliant, or I don't have to be as reliant on a link in an email or something like that, or even a Confluence page. I can put it in Loom and share it from there. And that way, people who are familiar with Loom, my support team, find it much more easily. I'm going to try to fix my chat again because it's driving me nuts. I can't pull up things. Nope, still doesn't work. Okay, I broke the internet, everyone. I apologize. Depends on the audience. User input is really powerful. Nope, it's still tiny. Okay, I give up. The other way, so we have two main ways. We can comment, and we can comment both on a Loom, the video, overall, but we can also comment at a timestamp in the video or provide a reaction at a certain point in time. I found this to be very useful, and I'll show you what this looks like. I'll make a recording, because you can point out a specific timestamp of the video. So exactly at 1 minute and 12 seconds is where the problem starts. Or I can leave a comment saying, hey, I think you clicked on the wrong thing, exactly where it happens. Right now, I don't have another tool that lets me do that. There must be one that exists. But being able to very finely point out exactly where something happens in the video and where I want something to change or have a question has been very useful. Emily, what's wrong with recording an entire 2-hour meeting and then making someone watch the entire 2-hour meeting to find something interesting? I don't see anything wrong with that with all. That's the approach I tend to see. Liz does not like that at all. Sorry. And of course, you can just share these. Now, if you're set up with Loom at your organization, you'll have a shared space, so as new videos come in, you could get a notification. But I could also directly mention someone. I can share a video directly to a group, so to a space. I can share the video at a certain time. So say it's a long sales chat I've recorded. I might say, hey team, at 15 minutes and 26 seconds, this important thing happens. Or maybe I know that Liz really hates watching entire videos, so I find just the sections that will work. And of course, I've mentioned this integration before. For me, this is very useful. I happen to use Jira and Confluence for a lot of stuff. And there are buttons now that just show up on Jira tickets and Confluence pages to record content directly to the ticket or directly to the page. This for me is powerful because my words are it reduces the distance between trying to do something and doing something. Without these buttons, I would have to go open, say, Snagit or Camtasia. I'd have to do the recording. I'd have to download it. I'd have to upload it. Ivan, hope I'm saying that right. Welcome from Barcelona. You dropped into talking about some of the integrations we've got. You've also dropped into a very interesting discussion with some technical writers about how to handle video content and using, it looks like, LLMs. So welcome, my friend. But for me, being able to quickly just add content directly to a page or directly to a ticket really helps. Liz is advocating for dumping a lot of e-waste into the ocean, which I can't condone, but I get the spirit, Liz. All right, another question. How many recordings and screenshots do you take daily? And what are they for? So just curious. Oh, did I lose my ability to do... So how many screenshots or videos do you find yourself taking on a daily basis? And then what are you doing? What are they for? And I'm going to give one more shot here and try and fix my silly video because it's really just bugging me that I can't. Yeah, and that broke Chrome again. So I'm just going to stop doing that. Personally, I find myself taking dozens of screenshots in a day and multiple videos. Again, which is why having a tool like this has been so useful for me. I need this one. Yes, please restore my tabs. Quickly get back to where we were. Okay. Chad, upwards of 50 for each. 30 screenshots, 2 to 4 videos. Yep, a picture's 1,000 words. You'll see me do things later in this, actually, with screenshots where I'm like drawing boxes and pointing arrows. I don't know what best practice is. Emily has a great point, though. Screenshots can be challenging because systems change, right? And this is good and bad. It means the system updates, but it means we have to go take new screenshots. Selfishly, it's good for me because I keep getting to build up more trainings just with different screenshots. Um, However, Emily, personally, I find it's in the small scale, and I don't work at the scale that I imagine you might. It's useful because it helps them find exactly what they need and helps them get to the thing faster. However, I do understand its scale. If I'm supporting a company's help desk, like customer facing stuff, I might not want to use them as much. Brad takes him for Atlassian University support tickets. I appreciate you helping out the team. Liz, you don't like, what was it, Tin Can API? Bit of an L&D joke there. Scorm will never die. So to record with Loom, it's very simple. This screenshot is of the Loom browser extension. And again, it works in Chrome. So if you have Chrome, you can get this extension and just push Loom and it starts recording. Very straightforward. And this is what I've been using because I didn't realize they had a desktop app, and I feel kind of silly that I only discovered it now. The browser extension doesn't have quite as many features. But if you've got the desktop, you can just hit Command-Shift-L, and that will then start recording. And Emily, I apologize. I took a picture of a keyboard and used it. So hopefully if anyone uses Dvorak, this might be very confusing. That was a bit of a keyboard nerd joke for everyone else. But again, for me, the hotkeys are important. I don't have to think, and this will sound bad, I don't have to think too much about how to start the recording. I just remember push Command-Shift-L, and this thing will start going. And that, for me, is great. I'm a very lazy person. The less I move my mouse, the better. Yep, Emily's saying that she's the entire documentation department for a product suite. So how we use these tools will differ based on our need. My need is different. I'm supporting a team of, 100 people in a recruiting team with 20 engineers, and it's all internal. Emily might be recording or supporting every customer that uses a product that has 27 verticals. And so how we use these tools can differ, and that's important to keep in mind. I'm going to drop a quick link. I've set up a Discord server, which I'm trying to paste in here. There we go. And the intention is just to give us a place to chat and connect in between sessions. Mostly right now, lots of chat about cats, stickers, and then also Jira and Confluence. I'll add a Loom channel just for another way for folks to connect and share ideas and information. A control panel does pop up. You do have options. You don't have to be on camera. Loom is going to suggest you should be because you get more. Again, you give people more information. They can see you. They can hear you. Honestly, when I record a lot of bugs, I turn off the camera and the mic, and I just record the screen, and I'll very clearly show where I click. But when I'm doing training videos, when I'm doing welcome to the team, an onboarding, I'll have myself visible so folks can see me and hear me and understand what's going on. Dave, I don't believe Loom is a verb yet, although I think we should start a petition to make it one. Yeah. Hey, Loom it to me. Like, send me the Loom video. Did you get a Loom? I didn't find the Loom. No, it's not a verb. I'll keep working on it. Emily, I will point out there are bits of software, both on the engineering side, but also documentation that will record a process that you can rerun to retake all your screenshots. XAPI, that's what it was. I always called it a tin can, Liz. Sorry, this is for L&D folks. There is SCORM, which is one file format, and then there's XAPI for sharing information. This is a hideous screenshot of me. My camera's been giving me issues, and so I apologize for the look I'm giving you there. But while you're recording, you also get other controls. Again, change the size of the video preview, start, stop. You can also blur out portions of your screen, which I use quite a bit. I have a lot of sensitive information I don't want to share, say my phone number, so I'll blur out that section so no one can see it. But Liz, Tin Can is like the joke name. XAPI is the official name, and it sounds cool because it has an X in it, right? Like it's extreme. So this little bar pops up when you're recording so you can control it. And this is my gentle reminder that we are going to teleport into Loom. And now I have to go find the right Chrome browser window, and I hope this doesn't all die on me again. All right. So again, for the purposes of this demonstration, this training, I'm going to be using Jira and Confluence. I'm familiar with it. It relates to other aspects. However, what I'm showing you does not need Jira and Confluence. You don't have to be using it. Loom works just by itself. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to go up to... Oh, wow. I'm just going to look for Loom download, and I'll drop this link in the chat. But this link will let you download Loom. And again, you have two options. You can download it to desktop or into Chrome. I have both just for the purpose of this demonstration. I don't think you need both if you do the desktop version. The important thing for the desktop version, these extra features. You get things like a draw tool. It can record mouse clicks. This one for me is important. As I'm recording a bug, I want to show people where I click. When I use the extension, I kind of have to like put my mouse around the thing and draw a circle. What am I missing here? Oh, Kyther, you can have multiple excerpts now. You can give them all names too, like Bob and Fred and Sally. It gives you 4K. I can think of ways or use cases I'd want to record Loom in 4K, but in day-to-day I don't. But the other big thing for me is the draw tool. You can draw on the screen. So this is, again, useful when I'm drawing attention to something or pointing things out. Scott's saying the link. Did I break the link? It's not a link. Why is it not a link? Huh. Sorry, Liz. Frank, right now, Loom, to my knowledge, does not record key presses. A joking way to get around that is just have a Word doc open as you're typing, and that will record the key presses. Sorry. Brad, that is an excellent call out. What Brad is pointing out is it clearly says blur tool right here for extension. It doesn't include blur tool. The blur tool, sorry, that's really hard to say. The blur tool is available in both. So I'm now going to go to their pricing page just to show you all that. I think I'm using right now Business Plus AI because I'm on their 2-week free trial. I'll do my best to call out what's in the paid versus free. But with the free, you can have up to 50 folks sharing everything. So you get the collaboration, which is really nice. And each person can have up to 25 videos that are up to 5 minutes long. A new feature that I haven't played with yet is connecting to your calendar, so recording your meetings. This feels like they're edging in on like Zoom, right? And then they can tie this into their AI to do things like meeting recaps. So you'll notice in this paid, you get the meeting recaps, you get auto meeting notes, all that kind of stuff. Kythra, I don't know what a blurt ool is, but I assume it's something very specialized within documentation. I'd love to learn more about a blurt ool. Comments and emojis, okay, whatever. Then for $15 a month, which for me personally, not in a company, I would just use the free as much as I can. You get the unlimited videos. The editing is also important for me. If I only have Loom, it can be a video editor, which is great. Liz, I don't know what you're talking about. I do a lot of editing in Loom. Again, you can clip things out, you can remove things, you can insert other video into the editor. So that's a great feature. Gets rid of Loom branding, and you can also upload and download at this stage. Okay. A quick question for the group. What is a Nat 1? Oh, I think I know why this broke. Sorry. I swear I'm intelligent. That's why. Haha. Oh, that annoys me. Sorry. my tech setup is a little bit too complex, and I tend to accidentally shoot myself in the foot every once in a while. I'll just take that. The AI, I haven't honestly used this very much. This seems to be relatively new in terms of pulling out action items and things from meetings. Again, I tend to use it just for the recording. Emily, I am talking and typing, I guess. Where was Blur? I will not go through everything in here, I promise. And Chrome crashed again. That's just wonderful. Brad, to answer your question, it includes blurring on desktop. And now that I've spent enough time fighting with Chrome, we're just going to jump right into some recording, because that's really what using Loom is for. And again, if anyone knows someone at Google who can help me solve why everything crashes all the time. All right, so to record, I've got my little Loom browser extension. All I have to do is click it, and then I need to sign in. And I get the cute little Loomy. And this is my library. So this is kind of like my homepage of Loom. It's saying I've got some videos. These are all just quick little ugly demo things. But if I can click on it, I'll open it up. And then I can watch it. I'll mute it just so you don't hear that. And what you're seeing is the video on the left. I have the standard video controls, skip forward, pause, audio. I can change the playback speed, which I tend to watch things at 2x, which might be a really bad idea because I'll miss stuff. But Loom, I think, defaults speeding it up. I've got some settings. What quality do I want to watch it in? Sure. And then on the right, I've got all that editing. And again, this is some of the AI stuff. I don't have it available in here because I'm not paying for it. Excuse me. But if I go into edit and enhance. Wait, what is this? There we go. Again, some AI options to remove silences, remove filler words. That's the paid product. But I can also add an overlay. And this for me is where it gets fairly useful, because again, if I'm building documentation and I need to clearly call out where something is, I could put the box around this section of the screen, and then down at the bottom, tell Loom how long to have that box there for these 16 seconds. So then when someone watches it as I'm talking, whoop, here's my box. Now this is something I currently can't do with my tool set. Oop, and I want that to align. So I might take some time to update this video to have a little bit more information. And again, this is just based on I record whatever I'm doing, and then I put this in. And then maybe I find there's some stuff that I want to get rid of. Maybe everything after this I think is garbage. I can just split. And now I have two pieces of the video, and I can just delete what I don't want. Whoop. Uh-oh. There we go. They moved it. Delete selection. And so now the video will end wherever I put that cutoff. Let me go back to our chat. Dave has Loom included. Awesome. Lost the window again. Sorry, folks. I joke that something happens every single one of these. And sometimes it's a small annoying problem, and sometimes it's a little bit more annoying. This one is just bothering me because it keeps crashing every single window I have, including my ability to chat with all of you wonderful people. I need more hours in the day. Join the club, Emily. When you figure out a way to solve for that, please let me know. My people would love to hear about it. Aha. I have it back. It only took crashing the window 16 times, but chat is back. Perfect. I don't know why I can chat. I also have the ability to walk and type at the same time. I don't know why. I have a walking pad that I use. And so I'm able to write technical documentation while my feet are moving. which is just some magical ability I was born with. So that's, you can quickly edit stuff. Again, I do that a lot because I will make a mistake in the video, or I'll have a run up. I'll hit record and then I'll be sitting there looking going, huh? And I want to chop that off. Very easy to do in here. And again, that editing I think shows up at the first paid tier. But I can just hit finish and that'll save it. Or I can even then make more modifications. I'm going to move my head real quick. I can insert additional video. I don't use this all that much, but I might have made a mistake and I have to re-record part of it. I can then go grab that other loom and stitch it into this one. So now down here, I see the original waveform and I see the new one right here, this Google clip. So I can play this and it will skip straight to. And what you'll notice, the playhead, the red bar, will move left to right. It'll skip straight over the bit I chopped out. And then if I go look at what this looks like, the video will play, and it will just be a seamless video. This has saved me quite a bit. I tend to get in spots where I'll make a mistake 3/4 of the way through a video. I've just trained myself to pause, take a breath, back up, and redo it. And then if I have to stitch in a better take, I can now do that in Loom. And it's all in the cloud, and the people who are using the video just see it. It's now the video. So I can just click finish. I haven't played with these on the right here, and I wonder why I can't. Ooh, we can add links. That's cool. We can put a link in. Let me go grab. There we go. I haven't used this yet, but this is pretty neat. I could add a link directly to, say, a Confluence instance or further documentation about it. Oh, and there's even a default link. Where did I see that? I could think up some interesting use cases there. There is an interesting notification that showed up. Loom can notify you when someone watches your video. I recently found this very useful. I recorded a how-to video for some folks doing a special project. I sent it a week ago Thursday, so 9 or 10 days ago. No one watched it for a week, and then they started filing bug reports. And I was like, team, you had a week. I sent this to you. I asked you for your feedback, and I can prove you didn't watch the video. So why did you wait so long? Not to point fingers, but that notification is very helpful because it lets me help keep people accountable and make sure I know what's going on. Now, once a video is published or finished, on the right, I get some more tabs. I've got edit. Then I've got activity. I can leave comments. Be like, hey, Rob. So, and you'll notice that comment has a timestamp. So as I'm watching this video, maybe I'm 10 seconds in, and I add a new comment, it's going to add that comment exactly at 6 seconds. Now, this is where it's turtles all the way down. You'll notice I can use Loom to record a Loom about the Loom. So I could even provide video feedback for this person at the 6 second mark. I won't do that right now. But then I have all of the commenting features I would love and expect. All the fun emojis I can edit, link directly to it, etc. Tasks are a new thing. I haven't played with this very much. I need to refilm this. So this is something I might go play with to understand a bit more. Kyther, could you explain what turtles all the way down means while I keep babbling on about Loom? Again, I'm not using the AI for the transcript, but then I can also track who's viewed it. This for me is useful just so I can again see which software engineers have been engaging with what I send them. And then I've got a bunch of settings. I usually don't tinker with these. For example, I don't give my videos a custom thumbnail. I'll do that on YouTube. Dave, here we go. We've got the views. I don't think it records like how far did Rob watch. Actually, just for giggles, I'm curious what happens if folks click on that link. You should be able to view our hideous video and see what happens. But that would give us some more, what's the word I'm looking for here, Dave? Metrics. I'm going to pull back a bit, about 15 minutes. Awesome. Going back to my Loom home, I've also got my screenshots. I like the screenshots. Again, I'm using the desktop download, so I just hit Command-Shift-2 on my keyboard. That starts a new screenshot, and then I can... Yep, there's a turtle on top of 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 a turtle, and as you look down, it's just a stack of turtles all the way down to the end of nothing. It's a joke about regression and repeatingness. I have it linked to just Command-Shift-2 on my keyboard, though. So all I have to do is hit Command-Shift-2, and I'll crash Chrome again. Wow. If anyone's keeping track, that's probably a half dozen times today. But being able to hit Command-Shift-2 and just take the screenshot and then save it into my shared instance has been very useful. Again, I know exactly where it goes, and I can set it up so other people can access it, which is pretty neat. So to get back in, I'm just going to go back to my browser extension and click on Loom. Now, this time it didn't take me to my homepage. This time it took me to the recording. So this is where I would go, and this is what I'm mainly using. I'm coming in here to come record stuff. And so you can kind of see right up here as I'm talking, I get the audio waveform. So visually, it tells me I'm recording audio. I'm going full screen. I could change this to just a window, just the camera, etc. Oop, come back, Loom. I can turn the camera on and off or turn the mic on and off. And then I get a few other options. I have some effects. I tend not to use these because, oh wow, apparently my head is blue. Just because of stuff like that. But you can have some other video backgrounds and things built right in. I tend to just not use one, just whatever my background happens to be. Frank, is the free one enough for old videos or is it counted for total? On the free version, I don't believe you can upload new video or upload existing video. So if you're looking to use it for like an archive or for its lightweight editing, you need the first tier up, the $15 a month. Brad, I think it was, had a question on blur. So to blur, I just pick a section of the screen. There we go. Maybe that's too much. But all I'm doing, you'll see this box show up around things, and it's blurring out those elements. So I think it's just grabbing the underlying HTML. So it's not like I click and draw a box. It's picking that element. So as I start recording, those things should stay blurred. I've got a more menu. So again, things like notifications, the light mode. I prefer dark mode. That's just my preference. And of course, I closed it again accidentally. And I'll go blur those things out again just to make sure they stay blurred. These are all my super secret upcoming videos, so please don't share it. And then I'll just click start recording. It'll make me pick a screen because I said use a screen. I could also say just do a window though. And then I'll hit share. It's going to give me a countdown just to let me know, hey, you're recording. And now we're recording. So we can see this ticking down. I can adjust the blur if I need to. And you'll notice it says resume recording, so it's paused. So if I don't want you all to see in this recording the names of these Jira tickets, I can go through and then click resume, and it'll pick right back up. So now I just see a bunch of blurry stuff. But from here, I would just move around whatever system I'm recording exactly like I did before. And now I have a recording. I'll click stop or Option Shift L if I'm using desktop. And I'll crash Chrome again. I think that's up to 7. I even rebooted my computer this morning. I felt really smart because I did that. So that's the recording process. Again, very straightforward. I've also got the Loom desktop app. And again, that's what I'm going to start using. I started using the Chrome extension because that's what I was told to use. Again, my weakness was just I didn't know what was available. So I started using the Chrome extension. That worked great. What I like about the desktop, though, is it's got a couple other options. So let me get back to jQuil Atlassian. If I record via it and it's showing up on my other monitor, I'll just click Start Recording. Oop, I'll turn on my camera. Oh, is it just going to do this one screen? That's annoying. Nope. Sorry, Loom. After you've... And Chrome died again. It's just not a good day for Chrome, folks. All right, on that note, I may skip to my last slide just because it makes it very hard to do a demonstration of a bit of cloud software when the cloud keeps crashing on me. But that is the basics of Loom. It's being able to quickly record and share content. And I use it very frequently. Again, my job does a lot of work sharing information like that. Actually, I'll try and share one more thing. And that's how it integrates with Jira and Confluence, because that for me has been very useful lately. So on a Jira ticket, I'll now have an option to record a Loom or tie in a new Loom. Why does my camera keep shifting? There we go. If I go up to Add, I'll have the ability to record a new video or tie in an existing Loom right from here. Again, very useful for my teams that do bug reporting or need to see exactly how a feature should operate or something. I can just click on it, start the recording, and drop it right on the Jira ticket. So again, it's shortening that distance that I have between I need to make content and being able to make it. And I'll see something similar in Confluence, assuming Confluence doesn't crash and burn as soon as I try to open it. Let's try and just restore. Huh. Well, apparently Chrome doesn't like Confluence today. I will figure out a follow-up video that shows those ideas in a way that work. But next steps or what's next, definitely check out Loom. Again, there's a free tier so you can tinker around with the basics. If you happen to have it at work, I'd highly recommend just start adding it to your process. That's what I did. I'm replacing Shotter with Loom because I now know there's a desktop app and that will support screenshots. So that'll then let me get rid of a tool. It simplifies things a little bit, so it's a bit easier for me. And I want to grab one of you. So getting hands-on is really important. Again, for me, anytime there's a new tool, I want to make sure I know how to use the thing. But then also talking to others, and that's where that Discord server that I shared can help. You can come in and drop ideas. The Atlassian community is also, of course, a great spot. And I'll drop some links, hopefully in the chat, once I get it back. Is this the right one? This is the right one. Lior, welcome. Glad you were able to come. Frank, I have checked for Chrome updates multiple times. Why do they call it a collaboration tool? Let's see if I can get to this, Dave. Because once you have saved the videos, you can then go in and comment on them. You can share edit access. You can work on the video as a group. So it's not just I record a video and give it to you. It's I record a video and put it out in the cloud, in the space, in the area I want to share it. And you're able to come in and work on it with me. You can also set it up so it's view only. I do that with most of my videos, just so someone can't go in and mess with it or break it or change it in a way that I don't like. What else did I miss? Unikitty. Rebecca, I will try another reboot. I did shut down my computer last night just to try to fix it. And that had its own challenge. That resulted in the challenge of it's still doing it. So it's something I need to go troubleshoot and fix. It just bugs me because it's a relatively new computer and a new install of Chrome. I've got a course on Confluence. I'll share it in the link here. I'm just offering that for free for folks and just looking for feedback on it, on how I can improve it. It doesn't cover Loom yet, but I'll be folding that in as a new topic, just because I think it's so valuable and such a useful thing to creating it. The location is like a G drive. Yes, it's a shared space, a shared location in the interwebs. I'm trying to bring it up here so I can share it, Frank, but I'll have to jump off in a few moments. Oh, it worked. Okay, good. Hopefully this stays stable enough where I can share. Here we go. So this is the library. I can share them to a space or keep them in my own personal space. So I can go to move. And put it in the all jQuil folder. So this will let them, other people view it, but it's still in my library. So I can just kick it over, and now anyone with access to all jQuil will be able to see it if this saves. Come on. Dave, uninstalling is my next thing. I just wiped out the cache and have to log into everything again, and that just drives me crazy. And then I can share it. Where are my options? And what I'm looking for here is anyone can view or edit. So Dave had a question, hey, is it just for sharing video? How is it collaborative? I can give people edit access to the video. So again, it's more than just, hey, here's a Google Drive of video. It's giving you ability to go in and change and modify it as well. All right, folks. So that was about an hour of Loom. Please keep dropping your questions in there. I'm still exploring how to use this tool, and I really appreciate all the expertise that folks have, especially on the documentation side. You know, I learned a lot from you all, so keep the comments coming. But also let me know if you want to learn more about Loom. There are more advanced use cases, more advanced things I can think of sharing. This was just intended as a, hey, here are the basics of Loom to get folks started. And then to get folks starting to use it. I saw some comments in the chat, oh, hey, I didn't know it could do that, or oh, that's pretty cool. I'll encourage you to go just see how it goes, see what it's like. I've got one more link for you, and that's for that Udemy course I mentioned. That'll take you to free access to it. I just ask you leave a review so I know what you thought of it. But please check it out. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all again soon. I have another session Thursday on automations in Confluence, another one on Friday on the ACA 920, which is the, what's it called? Not junior version. Help me out here, team. Associate level, thank you, for Confluence. So please join me there. Links are in the channel, and I'll drop those in just a minute. And I'll have more coming. There'll be a pause during Team, the big conference. So for that week, you can come here, but I won't be here. Otherwise, I will leave you with my fun outro video. I thank you all so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you here all again soon.